Welcome everyone to Moreton Bay Region Library's videocast to commemorate National Reconciliation Week 2020. The theme for this year's Reconciliation Week is In This Together. Before we begin, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians and the traditional country on which this event is taking place, and the elders both past and present. I also recognise those whose ongoing effort to protect and promote Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, which will leave a lasting legacy for future elders and leaders. Australia celebrates National Reconciliation Week every year from the 27th of May to the 3rd of June. These dates commemorate two significant milestones in the reconciliation journey of Australia. The 1967 referendum acknowledging Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, and the High Court Mabo decision of 1990. National Reconciliation Week is preceded by National Sorry Day on the 26th of May. Today's videocast features Ghunghanghi elder and founding member of Reconciliation Queensland, Aunty Flo Watson, talking with University of Queensland academic, social justice advocate and proud Wakka Wakka woman Emily McConochie at the Caboolture Library's welcoming place. This welcoming place is one of 4 significant spaces across Moreton Bay Region Libraries, developed in collaboration with the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of our region. Please join us for our commemoration.
Hi Aunty Flo, I'm here with Aunty Flo Watson, new mob. I'm so excited to finally get a chance to speak to you about this year's theme for Reconciliation Week, In This Together. I just want to say deeply from the heart how much gratitude I have to have elders like yourself who are willing to sit and share with us your experiences, particularly around Reconciliation Week 2020. So I'd like to acknowledge that we're on Gubbi Gubbi country, the neighbours to the south, the Turrbal people. We're here in Caboolture Library, and I just want to acknowledge all of our ancestors that have, brought us together and been able to grow us up strong, and yourself included there, Aunty Flo. So thank you.
Thank you, Emily. It's just wonderful to see you again. And did we have a hug? But it's been an amazing journey, and thinking about what we're going through now with Reconciliation, Sorry Day, Mabo, and NAIDOC's been cancelled, but we're thinking, I just thought I'd introduce myself.
Please,
I'm Aunty Flo Watson. I'm an elder and auntie, a mum, a nana, sister, and a friend to many. Yeah. My people are from Yarrabah, the Ghunghanghi people. I'm a traditional owner there, and I was born and bred in Yarrabah and grew up there. But my grandmother was taken away from Magnetic Island before she sent to Yarrabah, and she's from Magnetic Island. So my great-grandmother's name was Emily Magnetic. So I affiliate with the Walguru Kabar people. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful country there, Aunty Flo.
Magnetic Island. I'd love to live up there, but Brighton's nice.
It's all right.
But and I also, my mum's stolen generation too, so the Ghunghanghi people of Cape York. She's from the Laura Maytan area. She was stolen from there, sent to Yarrabah. She left my dad. But it's been a busy week, getting things done for Sorry Day, Reconciliation Week, Mabo, referendum day, and so I'm looking forward to doing things.
Because these commemorations and these big events in our communities aren't really stopping, are they? Even though we're emerging from this COVID-19 crisis, we're still remembering the babies that were taken away, the little ones, and you've got a lot of work that you've been doing with both Reconciliation Australia, ANTA, and then also Link Up. Are you a part of what's going on with that? Or?
I do work with Link Up in sort of like on an outsourcing, and I do a lot of trying to find people, their families. I was only driving in here today, and person rang me to say that he's got this young girl there that she wants to find out about her family. So
Oh, fantastic.
we're going to sit with her and see where she's from. And,
Yeah.
you know, because when you're in an Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander community, I tell you, you know everybody, you know.
Yeah,
And,
yep.
you know, you have that connection.
Yep, that's it.
And you sort of know.
Yeah, wonderful. So you're busier than ever by the sounds of it with what you've been...
With this virus.
Yeah.
It's been more busy, and it's been an eye-opener for me too, all this technology and having, like I did cultural awareness training the other day on Zoom, and so that was a big eye-opener for me to do that.
Yeah.
And I have meetings on Zoom and teleconferences.
Oh, deadly, Aunty, you're just super tech.
Yeah.
And are you finding it's easier, or is it just as easy to be connecting in with mob, or is it?
It was challenging for me at the beginning, but I find it easy, and I like talking to my mob and family and friends wherever they are.
Yeah, lovely.
So we're developing. I chair a local Stolen Generation group in Brisbane.
Yep.
And because we can't have our ceremony this year, so we're developing a video.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, we'll probably put that on our Facebook page, website. And then we're doing some live streaming with Link Up on Sorry Day on the 26th of May.
Yep.
And there's so much happening out there.
There is a
lot. Get
lot.
it out there, you know, to let people know what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. And are you expecting big digital crowds as well?
Oh, yeah. Already got people, calling and sending
your
messages
Twitter feed
to us. And,
totally.
Yeah, because as you know, Sorry Day's on the 26th of May.
Yeah.
Then we have the 27th of May is our referendum day.
That's it.
And that's when Reconciliation Week starts.
Yep.
Then it goes all the way to the 3rd of June, which is Mabo Day.
Yeah, lovely. Lovely. So you were talking a little bit about the big bridge walk, the commemoration of all of these big events, you know, talking about the referendum that happened in 1967, and that was a huge solidarity of movement, 97%. And even today we're talking about possibly a referendum for something like a voice to Parliament, maybe not. I mean, what's been your experience with working with non-Indigenous groups in solidarity? You work a lot with different mob.
We first started Reconciliation Queensland. I launched that in King George Square in 1996.
Yep.
And then we worked towards having the bridge walk in 2000.
Yep.
Bridge walks. And we did the one at William Jolyon, you know, 60,000 people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, it was just amazing. We only did, with Reconciliation Queensland, we did a big event to commemorate what we did there. My granddaughter actually led the walk.
Wow.
William Jolly Bridge.
Wow.
So I was talking to her about it the other day. And so apparently they're still going to do some once all this is over.
A lot of organisation goes into these things.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
But you know, that walk, it was just amazing, eh? You know, we walked from Musgrave Park over William Jolly Bridge into King George Square.
Yeah.
And the people who were there, you know, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people. And it was just an amazing event.
Yeah.
And at the time was Lord Mayor Jim Sawley.
Oh, right. Wow.
So we had the Bringing Them Home report handed down in 1997.
Yep.
There were 54 recommendations and only 3 were implemented. That was the establishment of Link Up to do reuniting people from the stolen generations.
Yep.
Then we had Sorry Day to be commemorated each year on the 26th of May.
Yep.
Then the apology that Kevin Rudd did in 2008.
And so where can you see the next sort of steps, I suppose?
Well, we're hoping to get the other recommendations implemented through there.
Yep.
But
bit of homework for this generation, hey?
Yeah. Homework for the young ones to do.
Yep.
So I'm just thinking, just with reconciliation, we do a lot of events and that, and do a lot of stuff with reconciliation. We've got a lot of reconciliation groups around the state.
Yep.
We've got one up at the Sunshine Coast Reconciliation Group, and we also work a lot with ANTAR, Australians for Native Title and Reconciliation. So a lot of great things happening.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. And you do the Sorry Day ceremony at, is it Terrell Park, is it?
Yeah, what happened was when the Lord Mayor at the time, Jim Sawley, his response to the Bringing Them Home report, he identified 6 sites around Brisbane.
Yep.
And there were sites that were close to the homes where the Stolen Generation children were taken.
Fantastic, right, wow.
So the one for where I do at Terrell Park, it was the Enoggera Boys' Home, and they just up the road.
Yep.
And so we had that, and we started 1998. We launched that, and we've been going ever since. And I tell you, it's out there with the community. And on the day like last year, we had almost 500 people attend.
Wow, amazing.
Schools, we get involved with the school, a lot of organisations, and. And so we do that every year, and we have a dawn ceremony on 26th of May.
Yeah, beautiful.
And
a bit of a barbecue and
a barbecue at the end.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens with that legacy. You know, Jim Sawley and yourselves working towards that. Now it's a proper tradition. That's lovely.
And all the other sites do the same.
Yeah,
you know,
lovely.
They commemorate on that day.
Yeah.
And you know, as a result of that, we go out. And the schools are so much involved.
Yeah.
And we go out to them, to the schools, or some of the elders, and we'll go out and do storytelling.
Yep.
And it's been an amazing journey since
Gorgeous.
we started.
So what do you think about this year's theme in this together? It's
in this together.
we were having a bit of a laugh before because it's
Reconciliation Week, and it's sort of worked out well with the virus.
With the virus, everybody's saying this in this.
Together.
We're all in it together for the we, that type of thing, and it's almost a Channel 7 sing song. I noticed.
But in this together, and I just think all of our people getting together, sharing our history, you know. Learning about both cultures, the Indigenous and the non-Indigenous cultures, you know, just working together.
Yeah. Have there been any big surprises in that walk that you've done of reconciliation? Have things cropped up that have gone, you know, there's an act of kindness there that surprised you?
It's been amazing. I like when we did the walk, and when we started Reconciliation Queensland. It was we had people from everywhere, like we had pastoralists, we had all politicians from all areas, and mining groups.
Wow.
We're all part of the committee.
Wow. Yeah. The big end of town got involved. Wow.
We all got that.
There you go.
Premier was involved. At that time it was Peter Beattie.
Yep.
And we were called eminent persons after that, before that. So Ray Martin and all them.
Her royal auntiness. Yes, good.
Now we're just Reconciliation Queensland.
Yeah, lovely.
And they have reconciliation groups throughout Australia.
Yeah. So what have been some of the big things? I just have to acknowledge that you've been such a big part in supporting mob through the stolen wages thing. That was such a big win, you know, last year, this year, all of that hard work from the ancestors, right from 1940s and before, you know, that big court case you were a big part of. And I just want to, you know, thank you and offer my gratitude because that would have been a lot of work for the ancestors to.
It was a lot of work, and when you think, like I was born on a mission, I lived under the Aboriginal Torres Strait Protection Act, and living with my mum and dad and all my family there, and the wages that they got, nothing.
They sent out to work and they didn't get a paycheck.
Nothing at all. And it all went into the coffers, Queensland government at that time. So they did do a reparation scheme, Queensland government. It was I think it was about 2,000 and 4,000 for certain things. And then this great guy I really like, Joshua Creamy, one of our Aboriginal barristers. And so he thought he'd start the class action. So he gave a few of us a call and asked us, there were 30 of us who were going to be witnesses in the court case. And then all of a sudden Queensland government settled out of court, 190 million.
Wow, good.
And so then we started the process of getting people to apply,
Yep.
who they were, but it was hard, like a lot of
Blackfellas love
illiteracy,
forms, hey?
Yeah, a lot of forms to fill out. It's still going, they still ring me every day, nearly every day.
Yeah.
Oh, auntie or mum or whatever.
Yeah.
We put the form in, but we haven't got a letter back yet or something like that.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
can go through all that, and I'm actually working with a few people here in Caboolture.
Yeah, because Nan put it in and she called me the other day, and I think she was actually telling me to call her because she said, Emily, I think I forgot to put the phone number on that form. Is that I said, well, how are we going to contact?
Yeah.
But yeah, she put it in for her mum who was working under the Act. So that was a big deal for her to kind of, put it through.
It in for my mum and dad, and so that was, got the forms the other day. So that was actually it was heartbreaking listening to the stories. And, when they were taking it, as soon as you turned 15, you had to go and work out on stations. You weren't paid.
Not paid.
You just had to work there. So it was great that this came around.
Yeah. And I suppose it's part of that truth telling, that real history that we have. It's not a pretty history sometimes, particularly what our women and our men endured out there in those old times. But it's turning around because you're involved in things like the Pay the Rent scheme at Ballangala. They do a really interesting.
I just think that's an amazing scheme. Like they're a
so
very
generous.
Small group. Community group, and they
committed.
And it's just amazing what they do, and they've got this Pay the Rent scheme.
Yeah, good on them.
And then out of that, they give to groups that Jackie Huggins and I are on the panel that and Ross Williams, and we give to groups that are needy, and they don't have to quit that or anything like that.
No,
they just take it and
don't need to beg for it. No. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's just.
And did they think of that themselves? Did they come up with that?
Yeah, the committee. Yeah,
brilliant. Brilliant.
And out of that scheme, we had a big elders. Acknowledgement lunch at Moreton just before Christmas.
Oh, good.
And so they gave us some funds to have the next one, and we're all set, ready to have it this year.
So lovely.
That'll be another one that we'll have out at North Lakes, where we'll acknowledge the elders, the ones who are around here and what they've done.
And everything they do for community.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So what would you like to see for 2020? We're still here, Reconciliation Week. We've made a lot of gains, I suppose, but I mean, what else is happening in the communities that you're working with?
Oh, there's a lot. There's so much.
There's so much.
I'm like, my daughter came and she said, Mum, you've never worked so hard in your life. You and the other elders of my age. You're supposed to be retired.
Yeah.
But no, we do a lot of work around. We go to. Say, for example, I was involved in doing the treaty, the Part 2 treaty. So,
that's great.
So I did that with...
That's with Aunty Jackie, she's been...
And so we're involved in that, and went around the state, having the workshops and getting people's ideas, and, what they think a treaty should be, and so that's all now with governments waiting to see what happens out of that.
They had some lovely signs, DATSIP, didn't they? They put all those postcards and it looked really well organised, and they put everybody up in these big sort of things.
And we had great, a lot of people turning up. Caboolture had the highest.
Oh, true. Well done, Caboolture.
And that was a great day.
There.
So we worked from there.
And big conversations around treaty, people wanting treaty?
A lot weren't too happy about having a treaty, but the majority did, and they just wanted to say that we've never lost our sovereignty as ceded. Asserting,
And I suppose it starts going into that treaty business, but I suppose reconciliation is still recognising difference and sovereignty in a lot of different ways.
And I think, like with reconciliation in this together, it's amazing that we're still working, we still work with government. They're all working together like that. It works really well with us, and Yeah, a lot of things happening, yeah.
Yeah.
But just say, for example, where I'm from, Yarrabah, and they're all in lockdown, and they're finding it really hard, and Palm Island, Cherbourg, I think it's okay.
Yeah. But again, I mean, there's still 2-hour limits to go shopping and everything like that in Cherbourg for the protection of the elders and all of that. But I suppose it probably feels a little bit more locked down to be in one place like that, perhaps. But I don't know, have you found it mob up in Yarrabah or Palm Island or places like that? Are they struggling with the lockdown? Do they miss travelling?
A lot of them are struggling, and there's been a few protests in Yarrabah and Palm. But I think, it's just trying to get away and to get out, and a lot of them want to go out and go shopping in town and whatever. But, but the majority,
I suppose, with the I mean, it gets into that tricky ground. The Biosecurity Act can last for 90 days, so they've legislated we can last for 90 days, but for some that have been living under the Act, perhaps it feels a little bit oppressive and
it does, and that's what they say.
scary.
It's just like when we were living under the Act, we had to...
What people told you.
Whole lives were controlled. I was taken away at the age of 11 and under that Act. So to be allowed to go out into the community, I had to be exempted from that Act, as you know. And so wherever I went, to be... even to go into stores, to be educated, to go on transport, you had to show your exemption form.
Or a permission slip signed by the protector.
Protector at the time. The chief protector who lived in Brisbane and only recently passed away. So that this is recent history. And even for me, when I came down to Brisbane, I was fostered, then educated at a remote school. And I came down to Brisbane to Teachers College, and so it was in 1972, and I still had to show my exemption form.
Wow, in 1972, even though you were studying to become a teacher, even though you were doing... I
was going to, study,
even though you were doing all of this business, you were still having to show cause for travel. That's amazing history and recent in your lifetime.
And I think about my brother, he'd done 2 tours of Vietnam. And he had to be exempted first to go into the army. And then when he came back, he had to go back into Yarrabah, into the community.
Wow.
So he was classed as an assisted person. And we always say, when I did it, we were doing some stuff about him, and I always say that in 1967, he was not a citizen of this country. But in 1968, he enlisted in the army.
Wow, and he fought for it, and he fought for everybody's freedoms and safeties. Wow. And then he was part of that Vietnam vet sort of return soldier. Wow. And they had a rough enough trot as it
coming
was.
back, and so we had a lot of Indigenous soldiers in the war. And they always say, wherever we go, that they don't. There was no racism when they're in Defence Force. That's when coming out. That all that started.
That they had to go back into the community. And was it hard for him to settle back into community life?
It was very hard for him, but he's still going today, and he's going pretty well.
No, good. Did because I know the RSL, I know this is getting into the soldiers' business, but he would have been paid a wage while he was in the military, and then was that still under the
That was still under the Act.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because...
talks about that.
So
what we've done, him and me and my other brother, we've set up the first RSL in an Indigenous community in Yarrabah.
Deadly. That's wonderful.
It's been going for about 3 years now.
Wow.
So it's the first one in an Indigenous community, first and only at the moment.
Looking after those soldiers.
And they have all the events there, Anzac Day, Remembrance Day. It's been going well.
Wow. That's beautiful, Aunty. Yes, I acknowledge them. Grandfather Martin went off to the military, of course, and then he came back. Grandfather Martin Bligh. He was, So that was great-great-grandfather. Yeah. So Vivian Bligh was his eldest daughter, and that was my great-grandmother. Yeah, and so seeing him in his uniform, he would have gotten exempted, or he would have signed up when he was a young fella, went off, he'd left a young family, and then because my grandmother, well, great-grandmother, she would have been born during that time. And and then that was before the flu came through, of course, so they had the Spanish flu come through around that time 100 years ago. Not that I was there, but that's when we lost her mother. And so there was all of that stuff. It almost feels too real for our communities with this COVID thing, I find. And I know Yarrabah is one community that's in lockdown, but then all across the country we're in lockdown as well, hey? Yeah.
And Palm Island, I feel for Palm Island because it's, you have to go by boat or to the mainland.
That's
all that
it.
sort of stuff. Yeah. And that was as you know, there was a penal colony. And if you dared to buck the system in other communities, you were sent there. It was punishment.
Troublemakers. Yeah, that was Grandfather Martin. He was a troublemaker. Good ways. But lovely.
So lots of things happening. Uluru Statement.
Yeah.
Have you been involved with that?
I love listening to the debates about the Uluru Statement because there's a lot of wisdom about, well, what is self-determination, and these questions, these dilemmas, how are we going to implement it? What are your thoughts on the co-design? It's kind of, we had that Uluru Statement of the Heart came out. Everybody got together from all of the corners of Australia, and then Megan Davis, she read that statement. What are your thoughts now on where the process...
I don't know where it's at now. Didn't you reject it? Prime Minister at the time.
They rejected it, and then we had... and then Scott Morrison, though, said that they're going to start a co-design process with Ken Wyatt. So
hope that happens.
Just seems to go on the back burner, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
always. But I just think if we have this referendum and for us to be included in the Constitution, as Aboriginal people, so that'll start the treaty process. Yeah. If we can.
Yeah.
Hope it goes ahead. But just think of it, not included in the Constitution. Indigenous people. That's heartbreaking.
So I don't know, I've got a few different opinions on constitutional recognition because I know Mob weren't there at the table when the Constitution was written. So what are your thoughts on the support of the Australian people redesigning the Constitution or...
My thoughts, to redesign the Constitution.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That was in 1901, wasn't it?
1901,
But my thoughts are we should be working together to redesign that. Reconciliation. I'll just pause. Yeah, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look what New Zealand's got, and, so their treaties, be good to go move on to that.
Yeah. So when you think of, say, New Zealand, where do you draw inspiration from with the type of work you're doing? I know there's the treaty that the New Zealanders have. There's different things that happen all around the world. Where do you see Australia going in the next little while? What do
My personal, I think Australia's heading to reconciliation. What we're doing, we're progressing it, just like what New Zealand did. And I think when I think about years ago, and you had hardly anyone in Parliament, and I remember when Charlie Perkins passed away, and at his funeral, and John Elliott, I think, got up and spoke about what his aspirations were, and he said, "Oh, brother," he said, "I'm still going around to all the organisations and places, and you still don't see a black face there, But now I see all that happening, and I see our kids being educated students. Our participation rates are getting higher. unemployment is still pretty low. But I see all that happening, and I see what our wonderful kids are doing from university and getting their degrees. And my granddaughters are all got their degrees. My eldest granddaughter now, she was the one who did the bridge walk. So she runs an Indigenous strategy. Yeah. And I just see great things happening.
Yeah.
Still a long way to go sometimes.
Still a long way. But then when you think of Uncle Charlie there, and Rachel Perkins now is leading a lot of the Uluru statement.
And we've got people there on the international stage. I've got great friends in USA and England, and and a lot of great things are happening.
Yeah. When I know when I think of so Aunty Jenny, you know, my nan's cousin, she always talks about her old people, you know, why did colonisation happen? And she talks about this moment when they just reassured her, you know, yeah, it did happen and it was terrible, but by and by it'll turn around. I'm wondering if you have your old people, things they've said to you that have kept you motivated through the years.
All the wonderful advice and all the wonderful yarning that we had with them, and you know, listen, and I think about them all the time. And like I helped run the Yarrabah Elders Group, and listening to all the elders there and what they do there now. You know, a lot of them are a long way older than me.
Yep.
And what they did, and they'd still cooking and sewing, and what they learned in the dormitories. You know.
Wow.
And it's just.
They know how to make beds, those women from the dormitories. Yeah.
But they're wonderful people.
Yeah.
And to think about what our old people said to us, you know, talk about that all the time.
Thank you, Aunty Flo.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just thank you so much for your wisdom. And again, it might not feel like that for you, but in the new digital world, we can see your lovely face on these different types of events. And I hope people are able to make it to the 26th of May Sorry Day. Thank you to the Moreton Bay Regional Council for letting us host this yarn, and the lovely Caboolture Library with this artwork.
Just so welcoming.
Oh, isn't it? And all of these deadly Aboriginal books and authors behind us here, this story of the message stick and people reaching out together.
Storytelling through artwork. And music and dance.
That's it.
You know, nothing was actually recorded over the years, you know.
No.
So this is just
told and told. And it's the type of place that you can look and you go, yeah, that is what we're about.
You feel a sense of
belonging. Thank you, Aunty Flo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you, Emily and Aunty Flo, for your insights into reconciliation. Thank you also to the staff at Caboolture Library and the staff at Redcliffe Museum for allowing us to film here. Thank you for watching.